Welcome everyone, this is Jesse, and today we're talking about one of my favorite Sega games, Streets of Rage. Also known as Bare Knuckle, this 90s beat-em-up game was once a top IP for Sega. Out of all the retro revival projects out there, like Sonic Mania, it pains me to see that such a vital series like this one hasn't received an official update in 22 years. So it makes sense that the fans at Bomber Games crafted the definitive Streets of Rage experience with Streets of Rage Remake. They worked for 8 years on this project, and the love they put into it combines the best elements of all 3 games into one almost flawless package. Although Nintendo is well known for shutting down fan games within days of their release, Sega has traditionally supported such efforts, or at least allowed them to exist, seemingly acknowledging that they don't really know what their fans want anymore. But while Streets of Rage Remake was originally given their blessing, Sega eventually issued a takedown notice without any kind of explanation. Fortunately, the project is easy to find online, so you can grab a friend and start bashing some heads in. With the intro out of the way, let's dive into it. The story of Streets of Rage involves 3 former police officers, Axel, Blaze, and Adam, brawling through the city in an effort to take down the evil Mr. X and his crime syndicate. In the later entries, Axel's friend, Max, and Adam's brother, Skate, join the fight as well as others including Mr. X's former minion, Zan. I love how they created a special intro for this game, and it sets the tone well for the fight that lies ahead. The game has you travel through diverse environments including city streets, nightclubs, jungles, warehouses, and more. There are multiple ways to take down your enemies, such as combo attacks, weapons, and special moves unique to each character. Streets of Rage Remake allows you to fine-tune your experience. If you prefer the voice clips from the second game, or the life gauge on weapons from Streets of Rage 3, you can change that. There's also options to change the difficulty so you can still have fun whether you're a novice or a pro. You can even spawn a computer-controlled partner if you don't have someone to play with. There's even a shop where you can purchase additional characters using the points you've racked up during your playthroughs. At the start, you can choose your first level, and it affects how the rest of the game plays out. Within the stages, there's often multiple paths that will give you something totally unexpected to experience. My brother and I played Streets of Rage 2 the most, so you could imagine the shock and awe I felt going through an area that I've completely memorized, only to find new surprises in store. The entire soundtrack has been given a new arrangement that are mostly on point, but there are a couple tracks that I still prefer hearing on the original hardware. I appreciate the effort made, but some of the charm was lost in the remixes. Not a total loss, as I was still humming along to these catchy melodies. Your special meter recharges over time. Feel free to spam these attacks, but you will lose some health if you don't allow the meter to refill. It's best to choose the right time to utilize these moves, like when a cheap boss has you in a corner. This adds an element of strategy to the monotony of assaulting hundreds of thugs. You can also call a SWAT team to kill your enemies on the screen if things get too intense, a feature that hasn't shown up since the first game. It's easy to customize the controls to your liking, so you can map the buttons however they suit you best. Because the developers pulled assets from all 3 games, you'll see enemies from the entire trilogy, which keeps the encounters fresh and exciting. If a fresh repackaging of all these elements combined isn't enough, there's also new elements of some stages, like hopping train cars or speeding on a jet ski in the ocean. Even censored content that never made it to the American version is here, such as the super flamboyant boss from Bare Knuckle 3. Boy, is he eccentric. Okay then, the sheer amount of replayability in Streets of Rage Remake should keep you busy for a while, and if you're a fan of other beat-em-ups like Double Dragon or Final Fight, you'll be right at home with this one. I still hope that some kind of revival is in the cards for this series in the future, but until that day comes, here is the best way to experience firsthand what the Streets of Rage games were all about. There's a link in the description so you don't have a reason not to play right now. Anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Streets of Rage below, and be sure to like or subscribe if you'd like more videos like this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.